Welcome back, everybody, on a busy Friday morning show. We're off and rolling. Mentioned UND hockey head coach Dane Jackson's going to join us in our second hour. Our first guest today is also a new head coach, at least in the Division I ranks. He's been a head coach before as he takes over for our guy, Eric Henderson, who's now big-timing us off to the Missouri Valley. At Drake, Bryan Petersen is the next head coach at South Dakota State. He'll be taking over the men's basketball program. Been an assistant with Hendo for the last handful of years, and he joins us this morning before he meets the Vultures down in Brookings. Congratulations. Tell me about this job. And it seems like a slam dunk, but when the job opened, was like, absolutely, I want to apply for it.
Well, thanks for having me on, first off. And to answer your question, yeah, I mean, this is a tremendous place. South Dakota State University is an unbelievable school, community, the support around Brookings is tremendous, and in the whole state and the region, it's a pretty special place that way. And so, and then on top of that, our athletic department is tremendous. A lot of success throughout all different sports, and and then the men's basketball program that I've been a part of, and also have followed for a number of years, especially since I've gotten to coaching. It's a place that you can win championships at, you can sustain success. And you can do it with great people. And I've experienced, I've been very fortunate to work here already for 6 years. And so, when obviously the rumors are flying around about Hendo, just even in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
You're always kind of, hoping and, opportunities come up. So this has always been in the back of my mind since I got up here that if I ever had the chance, I'd love to do it. I'd love to be the head coach here at South Dakota State and continue the tradition and success that has been built by a lot of really, really good coaches before me and a lot of really, really good players as well, too.
Bryan, being a previous head coach, you were a head coach at Kirkwood. How much of an advantage is that? You've been the guy to call a timeout. You've been the guy to draw up a play at the end of a game. How big of an advantage is that, just that you've had the experience of doing it?
Well, I think it's a pretty good advance, but I still got to work at things. I've been an assistant coach now for 6 years, and I got to, freshen up some of those things. But I kind of think about more just decision making. I've had to make a lot of decisions for the overall program, at Kirkwood at the time for 6 years there. And I think that's something that, I think a lot of people, when they say, hey, you slide over to the chair and become a head coach, they kind of say the things you said, call a timeout and some of that stuff. Those things are very important. But I think even more importantly is when you become the head coach is just managing people, making the bigger, broad scheme decisions, for the overall program. And so I've done that before. Obviously, it's a different level, Division I versus junior college, but I've been in that shoes before, and just looking forward to being, obviously being in that role again.
To take over, it's a volatile time. People know that the guys are going to go in the portal. Some will stay. What was your message to the team when you officially got the job?
Just stay connected. I told them on Saturday afternoon when I had a chance to meet with the group for the first time, just you guys are the most important people to me. The kids that were in that locker room, and it was unique because it was a weekend, so we didn't have everybody there.
Yeah.
And then obviously everything went down on Friday afternoon, so some of our guys were not on campus for that meeting. But everybody that was a part of this roster last year, and continues to be, they're the most important people to me. At the end of the day, my first 24, 48 hours, all my mind space, everything that I had was about them because I really care about them. They're the foundation of this program moving forward. And then just, staying connected with each other too, and then trust. Trust in President Dunn, trust in Justin Seller, athletic director, who are tremendous leaders, and they'll have a plan for this place. And they executed it very quickly for our guys, which was very nice for them. But my message to the team is just stay connected. We're going to work through this. There's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some, I don't know. It's not going to be perfect right now for the next month, but just trust. And I think the foundation that South Dakota State has, the men's basketball program, I think is a really good starting spot for them. And we have a lot of really loyal kids on this roster, and just staying together, and we're going to put the work in, and we're going to chip away at this every day.
I know I talked with Hendo about this several times over the last couple of years, Bryan, about mixing in, we're going to go through the portal, add guys, but we still need a homegrown recruit. Tell me about your philosophy about how you want to build the Jacks basketball roster.
It'll be very similar philosophy. That was one thing that I love working with Hendo. He was very collaborative. He allowed our assistants, not just me, but our other guys on staff, to have a big voice and be a part of the decision making process. And when it comes to recruiting, I was a major part of that, with the rest of the guys on the staff and Hendo. And so, don't try to fix something that's not broke.
Yeah.
So I know we have to make some adjustments. I'm fully aware of that. We're going to have to, especially this spring, we're going to probably have to bring in a few more transfers or a few guys. And we normally haven't had to do that a lot of springs, but it is what it is. So we will work tirelessly for that. But the overall philosophy of how we want to build our teams moving forward will be very similar. I want the best players possible that'll help us win championships that are closest to our campus. And that starts obviously with the state of South Dakota and then in the region around us.
The good thing is you're not alone in the Summit League because everybody's doing the same thing, which I know you know that. But, I mean, I'm looking at here in Fargo. NDSU is going to have to add 7 guys. Grand Forks is going to have to add 7 guys. I know that's the state of affairs, but you're getting into this. Tell me about the challenge of knowing full well what that's going to be on I wouldn't even say week to week. It's a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah, it's day to day. It's day to day. And that's why, again, I always will go back to our guys in the program right now are my number one focus. I do have to recruit. Our staff has to recruit that I'm currently putting together. But our guys in the locker room are the most important people. And we just got to make sure that they are comfortable, that they are valued here, and they feel that from me, and then the rest of our staff, and then our Brookings community in South Dakota State. And that's going to be my number one focus. But yeah, at the same time, we gotta get on the phones, and we've been working at it. It's crazy. The Saturday afternoon, I found out about me getting the job, and I feel like that was a month ago. And here we are, right at 10. It hasn't even been a full week, but we'll work at it. We'll add the right pieces. But I do understand. I don't want to say it gives me comfort, but I also to your point, everybody else in our league's kind of dealing with this
Same
stuff
thing,
too,
man.
I say that, but my number one focus is our team and what we got to do to be the best possible team we can be next year.
For people that don't know, obviously you're reaching out. How often is your phone, hey, I'd love to play at SDSU? On the other side of that, where you hear from guys like, I would love to come to Brookings. How often does that happen?
It happens quite a bit because this place has been a tremendous basketball program, and a lot of people know about the success that we've had, the fun style of play that we've had, our fan base. We got a brand new, beautiful First Bank and Trust Arena that I think is one of the arguably the best mid-major arena in the country. It's tremendous, but we fill it, and our fan base fills it, which is even more important than what it looks like. But we got that, and so I think there's a ton of really cool things that for student athletes to have that would want to be here. And so we do have some student athletes, some players that are reaching out to us that are showing interest in our program, and hopefully a lot more, and some really good ones too.
Where are you at with your staff-wise right now?
Yeah, well, so Tucker Wookie was on staff last year. He will be on staff and helping out. He's been tremendous this first week for me. He's been awesome. And then I've hired 2 other guys that are going to be on staff. One's on the ground right now working hard. He just got here, and then the other one will be here next week. And then I'm hoping to finish it out here in the next week or 2. I don't want to rush, because I think it's really important that we get the right people in here, because everybody says this and every coach says it's about the people, but that's really what it's about when you build a staff. I think Hendo did an awesome job of assembling a staff that was connected, and we were able to model that in front of our players. And so I want to make sure that continues here, because I'm going to use that word a lot, being connected and being together. And so I want to make sure I have a staff in here that will model that in front of our players, so they, so when we're preaching that to them, they can see that we're working really well together.
When you were at Kirkwood, you got Douglas Wilson there. Tell me, okay, when was your first thing, holy cow, how is this guy not a Division I basketball player yet? What was your first inkling, this guy's a freak?
Well, we recruited him really hard out of high school. I think I went to over 20 of his 25 basketball games. But we always knew that Doug had the raw ability and the athletic ability to be a Division I player. But when he got to the Summit League, everybody saw all the scoring around the rim and all that he didn't necessarily do that a lot. He was in high school. He definitely did dunk the basketball a lot in high school. So he was doing that. He was blocking shots. He was running the floor. He was doing all those things. But his overall skill set really grew in his first 2 years at Kirkwood. And then it just continued to evolve when he got up here at South Dakota State.
Last thing before I let you go, Greg McDermott has an attachment of so many coaches in the league, obviously with Dave up here at NDSU. What did he mean to you to get your coaching career going?
Well, first, he gave me a great opportunity to go play Division I level. My goal out of high school, I I didn't have anything really other than some NAIA schools, some junior college options, a few D2s, but I always had a dream and a goal of being a Division I basketball player. So it started there. He gave me an opportunity to be at Iowa State. TJ Otzenberger recruited me there, and then Coach Mack gave me the opportunity to be there. So that's where it started with Coach Mack, and then I just learned a lot from him for my 3 years I was with him. When I was playing, just seeing how he operated, how he's extremely smart. Like, he's one of the smartest basketball minds I've ever been around. And then he, allowed me to be on staff, as a graduate assistant right when I got done playing. And he obviously moved on to Creighton, and I stayed at Iowa State to finish out my degree and work for Fred. But he means a lot to me, because at the end of the day, playing at Iowa State, being a part of that, all those people that were there is why I'm here. Because if I didn't go to Iowa State, I'm probably not sitting here in this seat at South Dakota State, because of TJ up here and because of Hendo up here, and so it's pretty crazy when you think about the college basketball coaching, how everything kind of gets tied together and where people are at.
Brian, thanks so much for doing this, bud. Congratulations. I can't wait to congratulate you in person. Thanks for doing this, Tom. And have a great weekend, all right?
I appreciate it. You too.
There he goes.
Care.
We'll have you on again, bud. Bryan Petersen, new head coach at South Dakota State, as he takes over the Jackrabbits. He's getting formally introduced later today. We got him first. That's pretty darn cool. Our thanks to AP, Andrew Peterson, for making that happen down in Brookings. We'll break. We come back. We'll shift gears and talk some Twins. Corey Provis coming up. After the Twins lost on opening day yesterday, he'll join us. We'll dive into that when Hot Mike returns right after this.